Drivers are still trying to make up positions at the minute. So Triplac leads from Liveris, Remy, De Grande up into 4th place now ahead of Jan Schwitter from FM Racing. Carl Clibort is leading the classification in terms of DD2 Masters again. 2nd place in that category is Tamsin Germain from the United Kingdom. She's now into the top 10 behind Madeleine Radney by about 0.3 of a second at the moment. Leaders coming across the start-finish line to complete another lap. Zander Triplac is about 2.5 of a second or there or thereabouts ahead of Dionysus Liveris, who has got David Remy, Sebastian Durand. We've also got Jan Schwitter and also Carl Clibort. And I'm looking at the times at the moment. One of the quickest, actually I think is the quickest you'll find. Carl Clibort is faster than the 5 in front. That's an impressive feat, but with the scoring success he's had all season long so far, has been nothing short of impressive. So at the moment, Fritz Wernsen now drops down into 14th position behind Christoph Linien. Jamie Billings up into 12th. Jan Nygussen's resurgent as Alexander Vermeulen now drops out of what was effectively 8th position. So Radny now up into 8th ahead of Germain. Gussens, Vermeulen in 11th. Jamie Billings in 12th as the leaders cross the start-finish line yet again to complete another lap. Gap now between Zander Triplac and Dionysus Liveris has now been slightly truncated by the Greek driver in 2nd position to just over 0.2 of a second. So now Liveris has wanted that challenge. He has got that challenge. It's game on between Triplac and Liveris thus far. So we have 9 minutes and 51 seconds on the clock remaining to go here. Plus an additional lap, and Zander Triplac not getting away like we've seen him previously in past race meetings. But Liveris has been the one that has been ahead of everybody and has basically done a number on the rest of the competition here this weekend. So he's definitely looking forward to hopefully making sure that he goes out of this weekend in style, because I know for a fact that Zander Triplac will be reeling slightly, a bit like a hurt wolf licking its wounds, because his points lead will have been truncated by the efforts. Obviously, he's had a DQ. Oh, that was sneaky from Liveris, trying to go up the inside into turn number 2. He put the brakes on very, very late indeed. So Liveris really now, as Triplac now is having to fight for it. It's not going to be easy at all for the Belgian. And Liveris really now has given, I think, Zander Triplac something to think about. 8 minutes and 45 plus an additional lap to go here in this last of 4 DD2 and DD2 Masters races this weekend. Triplac leads. When they crossed the stripe last time, it was just over 0.07 of a second. David Remy a further 3.5 behind, but the gap looks to have closed a bit as the leaders come through the final chicane. Down the start-finish straight they go. As, oh, Liveris was looking menacing there. But the thing that I can see right now is that if Liveris tries to pounce on Triplac and Remy is there, Remy could overtake the pair of them in a couple of corners if the momentum is in his favour. But Triplac continues to keep a stronghold on the lead and is starting to pull away from Dionysus Liveris. Remy right on the back bumper of the Greek from Dames Racing Team. Then you've also got another Dames driver in the form of Sebastian de Grande in 4th position. Jan Schwitter still holding on to 5th at the minute and is just over 0.2 of a second in front of Carl Clibort, the fastest baker in Flanders on the 510. Alexander Zanibekian from the Netherlands in 7th is ahead of Madeleine Radny. Last time around the pair were split, and we have some time penalties being issued. And we've got one for Alexander Derlinger and also Alexander Vermeulen apparently. So there are some time penalties being issued. I'll know in due course what gravity they are going to be given a penalty, whether it's 3 or 5 seconds, depending on the race control and the stewards. So Triplac now has a 3.4 advantage over Dionysus Liveris in 2nd position. David Remy a further 10.5 or so. No, that's less. That's more than that, because he's having to battle with Sebastian de Grande, and Jan Schwitter has really not been able to fight at the sharp end of the grid. But now the Swiss driver really wants to have more than just a 5th place finish. He started in 5th, he finished in 5th in the last final earlier on today. So let's see if Schwitter has got the mettle to do so and get one passed over on De Grande. It's wait and see for that. We got around about sort of 6.5 minutes to go. We're actually past the half-time distance, as it's definitely a cat and mouse game between Schwitter and De Grande, but also Karl Kleebort is pretty much with them right now. He was just over a 10th and a half behind Jan Schwitter. The gap has come down as Madeleine Radny is really trying to challenge Alexander Zanibekian from the Netherlands for that 7th place. Tamsin Germain still continues to round out the top 10 as she's just been passed by Janne Gussens, who is recovering from that earlier off-track excursion. Janne is only just 14 years of age and is competing that. 492 has been given a penalty. Alexander Vermeulen will get a 3-second penalty for leaving the track limits, or exceeding track limits. Christoph Adams looks to have parked it, so the 555 will not see out the rest of the race. So Alexander Vermeulen gets a penalty, and also Alexander Derlinger. So 2 fellow Alexes come a cropper in this one, and I'm in the commentary box. I really feel for people in general when they get time penalties, but if they exceed track limits, they are at the mercy of the race control and race stewards here at Mariembourg and through the BNL Karting Series organisation. So Vermeulen and Derlinger both demoted by 3 seconds back in terms of their location on the tracks themselves. Schwiblak's lead now is 0.3 of a second over Dionysius Liveris. Still no changes as of yet, but Liveris has broken away with Schwiblak. David Remy now in 3rd place, and the gap has extended from 2nd to 3rd to just over 0.8 of a second. Sebastian de Grande a little bit further back from the Swedish driver who runs with Dan Holland Racing is in 4th. Jan Schwitter still trying to keep in touch with the Belgian. Karl Kleebort there. Madeleine Radny has got past Alexander Zanibekian for 7th place. Janne Gussens, Tamsin Germain, Jamie Billings and Christoph Linjen round out the top 12. So Christoph Adams has been confirmed as an official retiree from this race. So 4 minutes plus an additional lap, that gives us around 5 minutes of racing action still to take us through to the end of this weekend. But Dionysius Liveris has not given up one iota. He's just done a 55.002 and has dropped the gap to just over a 10th and a half between himself and the current race leader, Sander Schwiblak, who started down in 3rd position, now leads ahead of the Greek driver who started on pole position. But Schwiblak, I think, is going to have to worry about what Liveris is going to do in around about the next 3 minutes and 20, plus an additional lap. Roland Kinch drops down into 17th position behind Ronald Billings. Dullinger in 15th, Bernstein in 14th, Vermeulen in 13th, ahead of, behind Leenan, Billings, Germain, and that is Jamie Billings in 11th position on the 442. Zanibekian behind now, Janne Gussens. So Gussens back charging and is only 7.5 tenths behind Madeleine Radny, who's currently still sitting in 7th position. But the gap has now expanded, and the pendulum has swung in the favour of Sander Schwiblak ahead of Dionysius Liveris by about nearly 0.3 of a second on that last tour. We're on to lap number 12, 2 minutes and 31 seconds, plus an additional lap remaining in this last race, the second round of the 2019 BNL Karting Series season, being held here at Karting de Fagnes International Raceway in Mariembourg in southeast Belgium. Just south of Liège and 2 hours south by car from Karting Genk, the home of champions. So, Schwiblak leads, Liveris, Remy, De Grande, Schwitter, Radny, Kleebort, Gussens, Zanibekian and Germain. That's your top 10 at the moment. Kleebort leads in DD2 Masters in 7th on the road as he has now been passed by Madeleine Radny, who's really got a good turn of pace as the young Swedish female racer. Recently took part in what was effectively a variation of a tough mudder course. and had a lot of fun doing that. So that's been very good aerobic training ahead of this weekend. It's it's never easy in karting. Your body is put through the ringer because there's hardly any suspension travel. You are literally millimeters off the ground, and everyone finds it difficult, irrespective of the classes that we have here this weekend. 1 minute and 24 to go. The gap now between Zander Pshivlak and Dionysis Livris is just over 0.3 of a second. David Remy was just over a tenth quicker than Livris, and also was quicker than Pshivlak on that last lap. He did a 54.821. Pshivlak a 54.887. Dionysis Livris a 54.937. They come across to complete another lap with 60 seconds to go. And this time again, well, it was actually Remy this time that was slowest out of the top three. Madeline Radny is about 0.188 seconds behind Jarne Gussens. So Gussens now up to sixth place, having got back past Madeline Radny. Alexander Vermeulen in 12th place. Jamie Billings up to 11th. Sani Bekian in 9th, ahead of Tamsin Germain, who still remains in 10th position, second in DD2 Masters classification in this race. But ladies and gentlemen, as fast as this weekend came around, it has quickly dissipated into thin air as we are into the last 15 seconds, plus an additional lap of the racing action here to conclude what's been an interesting, captivating and exciting race weekend here in Mariembourg. So, Zander Pshivlak has a 0.4 second lead as the timer expires as he hits turn 2. This is the penultimate lap of the race. This is the penultimate lap for DD2 and DD2 Masters. And I really hate it when I have to say this. It's the penultimate lap of the race weekend itself. So it's been one of those weekends that I will never forget, because it's great to come to a new circuit here, especially at Karting des Fagnes. We are into the dying moments of this race weekend before our podium presentation at around about 4 o'clock, pending any judiciary and technical matters post races. And once that's resolved, we'll then have the weekend results for this round of the championship. But now, Zander Pshivlak, he might have had a disqualification earlier on this weekend, but he's in the lead on the penultimate lap of this race to get back some well-needed points, as Dionysis Livris and David Remy have been clawing into the points advantage that the 412 has had as of Karting Genk in late March. We're going to turn 4 for the final time. Now into the right-hander at turn 5. Now into 6 before they go into the infill section on the far side of the track from my commentary position for the final time. Into the left at 7. Now 8. Into the left at 9. So a triple left-hander. Into the right at 10 before we hit turn number 12. They put the power down towards out of 11 into 12. Now the final checkered flag of the weekend being prepared. And I have to say, what a drive from Zander Pshivlak from Bouvin Power to win by 0.3 of a second exactly from Dionysis Livris, who takes second. David Remy takes third ahead of Sebastian Degrand. Carl Klebot, again, 100% win ratio, 8 out of 8 in DD2 Masters from the fastest Baker from Flanders there. So Carl Klebot finishes 8th. Tamsin Germain takes the runner-up spot in this race for DD2 Masters. Christophe Lignen in 13th, finishes 3rd. Then we've got Zander Pshivlak winning that race by 0.3 of a second from Dionysis Livris. David Remy in 3rd. Sebastian Degrand in 4th. Jarne Gussens, Jan Schwitter round out the top 6. Madeline Radny finishes in 7th ahead of Carl Klebot, who wins DD2 Masters. Alexander Sani Bekian from the Netherlands finishes in 9th ahead of Tamsin Germain, with Jamie Billings, Alexander Vermeulen, Christophe Lignen, Frits Wernsen, Alexander Derlinger, with Ronald Billings being the last of the classified 16 finishers, with Roland Kinch and Christophe Adams calling it a day, respectively finishing on laps 9 and 6 respectively.